Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be whispering and telling you about some of my all-time favourite video games. While I'm doing that, I'm going to be drinking some whiskey and that whiskey is Buffalo Trace, in case anybody's interested. So yeah, I've been playing video games a long time. A lot of my favourites, or my favourites as a child, I no longer own. I know I own lots of them still, but I couldn't find them for now. That's why it's only going to be a part 1, because I've only been able to find some. But some of my earliest memories are playing Ratchet and Clank, the Lord of the Rings games on PlayStation 2, I believe. Some great games that I no longer own, but I wish I could tell you about. Anyway, let's get started. I'll have a sip of whiskey. That's very easy to drink. So, first up, this is probably the game I've played the most, and the clue is, it's on DS. Here's my old Nintendo DS. I recently found this again and played a bit of the game I'm about to show you. It's probably the game I've played the most. Back when I was little, I used to play it all the time on car trips, because obviously you could take the DS anywhere. In bed, I used to play, and when my mum would come upstairs, I could just flip this closed and pretend I was asleep under the covers. And the game is inside my DS now. I'll get it out. Then if you can see, try not to set myself on fire. Don't know if that'll focus. But that is Pokemon Pearl. Pokemon Pearl on Nintendo DS. It is definitely one of my favourites. I'd assume it's my most played game of all time. I'm not 100% sure. I think everyone's familiar with Pokemon at this point, especially if you played video games. I'm going to move on to my second game, which is for Nintendo Switch. My brother owns the Nintendo Switch, and this is the only game I've ever played on it. But it's another Pokemon game. Pokemon Shield. And while I don't own the Nintendo Switch, I do own this game. I bought it because it's Pokemon. I wanted to play it, it looked cool. And you could also plug it into a screen and play it on a big screen, on a TV, on my monitor for my PC. So yeah, that was just something I had to do. Play Pokemon on a big screen, because I'd never done that before. I really like the 3D aspect, but, well, not 3D, but the like 3D world, if you will, rather than a 2D world. Top down sort of style that the old Pokemon games were. I enjoyed the story, but I thought it was too easy of a game. But maybe I've just got older and games are easier now. I don't know. But yeah, it's a good game, very enjoyable. Yeah. The next game I've got here is a game on Xbox One. It came on all consoles at the time. It came out with what I would suggest is possibly the greatest trailer for any video game ever. It may have missold the game slightly, but it definitely got people hyped. And I enjoyed the game. I did. A lot of my friends didn't. A lot of my friends who enjoyed previous titles in this series did not enjoy this game. But I think looking back on it, I definitely did. I enjoy playing it a lot. So, this game is Battlefield 1. I've got the tin hard case here. But yeah, I enjoyed Battlefield 1 a lot. It's definitely not my favourite in the Battlefield series, but it was a different style of game compared to anything that came before it. And I appreciated that. Although it wasn't very World War One, there was hardly any trench warfare. It was a good game. I enjoyed it a lot. My favourite Battlefield of all time is probably Battlefield 3, followed by Battlefield 4, probably followed by Battlefield 1. Battlefield, although I do enjoy Call of Duty, Battlefield is probably my favourite shooter of all time as a series. So yeah, that's Battlefield 1. A fantastic game. My next game is probably my favourite instalment of my favourite video game series of all time, and it's probably in my top 3 video games of all time. I can't really rank my top 3, but this is definitely in there, and that is Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas. And now I say this is my favourite installment in the Fallout series, but it's definitely close on a par with Fallout 4, and I'd probably spend more time playing Fallout 4, mainly due to the base building, but I also just enjoyed that game a hell of a lot. Yeah, this is a fantastic story, fantastic characters, and it's just so enjoyable to play, so enjoyable to make different play styles join, and without ruining the story, if you've not played it before, is you can join so many different factions and fight for different factions, or just fight for yourself. It is such, I'd say, a masterpiece. This is as close to art as video games has ever got, in my opinion. Fallout New Vegas. It's a shame that the Fallout series has only gone downhill. Fallout 4, while I probably played it more, probably wasn't as good a game in terms of storytelling, in terms of just how good it was. And then Fallout 76, well, we all know that was a travesty, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore, so I'll move on. Fallout New Vegas, one of my top 3 games of all time. And now, my second favourite video game series of all time, and it's only the second favourite because, well, if you include the expansion that is included with this game, it's one of 3 games, but there are only really 2 games in this series. And that series is Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption. This is the Game of Year edition, which comes with Undead Nightmare, which, as far as a DLC goes, is probably the greatest DLC of all time. It's basically a completely new game, obviously the same map, but yeah, it's probably one of the greatest zombie games of all time, to be fair. Red Dead Redemption 2 is actually my favourite in the series, but I have that on a digital download, so I obviously can't show you in this video, but in terms of story and the characters, I prefer the main character in Red Dead Redemption 2. But yeah, both fantastic games, and as I said, New Vegas was as close to art as any video game has ever got, but I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is up there with it. So yeah, Red Dead Redemption. It's bringing back a lot of memories. final game of part 1. This is a PC game, an old DVD-ROM. Completely random compared to the rest of these games, but it is Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War Dark Crusade, which I believe is an expansion of the original Dawn of War, but it is a standalone game. And to me, this is kind of like a strategy game. I don't really know how to describe what this is in terms of game, but if you know Warhammer 40,000, I was a big fan of Warhammer 40,000, the stories anyway, the lore. So this game was fantastic. You can play as many different races, Necrons, Tau, Space Marines, all this, and there's a great campaign where you have to